you write reports, proposals, or procedures at work? And do you think you can do more in less time? If so, welcome to the Write It Well Academy. Write It Well has been working in the field for 35 years. We help clients and individuals by offering trainings, coachings, editing service on a wide range of topics, including resumes and cover letters, reports, proposals, and procedures, effective email, professional writing skills, grammar, and other common business writing challenge topics. Our focus is to save time as you draft documents. By following the simple processes that we outline in our courses, you can improve results for every email, resume, cover letter, report, proposal, procedure, professional presentation, or business document that you write. This course focuses on reports, proposals, and procedures. How to write long, multi-section reports, proposals, and procedures that present complex information, propose a business solution, or set out a step-by-step procedure. This course offers 4 lessons. The first lesson helps you outline your long document. The second helps you develop that outline. The third helps you draft your document. And the fourth helps you focus on using dynamic language. We'll offer a step-by-step guide to the course, some premises for style and content, and some definitions. By the end of this course, you'll be able to communicate clearly to readers. You'll be able to translate your analysis into documents and presentations that varying audiences will readily grasp. You'll also learn strategies for document planning, first draft writing, and final draft editing. You'll learn some sound planning techniques and careful formatting and editing techniques. You'll identify and achieve a specific goal with each outgoing piece of written communication. Also, we'll focus on making sure that your grammar, punctuation, and spelling are correct, that sentences and paragraphs are short enough to grasp easily, and that readers in general can follow all your language. Furthermore, we'll help you focus and make sure that the most important point leads the document, that each section leads with its most important point, that the headings you create provide a helpful roadmap, that writers summarize complex information before they get into details, and that procedure steps are in chronological order. Let's start with some definitions. A report. A report is a professional document that writers use primarily to pass on information. A proposal is a document that the writers use primarily to explain their professional abilities and to suggest that clients or customers engage in a transaction. And a procedure is a document that presents a series of steps that will lead readers to accomplish a specific objective. So lesson 1, outlining a long document. Let's follow the 4 steps in this process. The first is to identify your reader's needs, interests, and concerns. Step 2 is to identify your business needs. Step 3 is to identify and answer your reader's single most important question. Step 4 is to identify readers' other key questions. We'll use step 4 to respond to a request for a proposal, RFP, and we'll write an RFP in 6 question and answer steps. But the overarching framework here is around the planning piece. So let's take a minute to talk about why planning is so important to multi-section documents like reports, proposals, and procedures. So we did some research and asked professional writers how they allocate their time. And what they said is that they spend more than half of their time planning a document and less than half the time writing and revising it. So specifically, they spend 5% thinking about the readers, 5% deciding on their purpose, 5% focused on the main points, a collective 40% on selecting and organizing information, and all of that before any writing is actually done. So 45% on the quick first draft, revising and editing, and proofing and correcting. We like to say that planning is like money in the bank. It'll save you time in the long run. Which leads us to step 1 in our very important planning process. Step 1 is to identify your readers' needs, interests, and concerns. So, as a reminder, primary readers will often make decisions based on what they read. Secondary readers may only read part of the document. They may need you to establish more context to explain your ideas, and they may have less interest in the topic than your primary readers. You want to ask some questions as you think about your reader. Maybe you're already working on a report or a proposal. Imagine your readers and think about these questions. What do they already know about the topic? So in other words, if they already have that information, you don't need to include it. How will your readers use the ideas? Will they decide whether to take action and decide what action to take? Will they determine whether something was done or will be done correctly? Should they increase their general knowledge about a project or a situation? Will all readers use the information the same way? So if you're writing about a technical subject, what are your different readers' levels of technical knowledge? Now, this can be very difficult for technical people, and what you need to keep in mind is that technical people can communicate easily with other technical people, but when you have a general audience or some non-technical people in your audience, you need to think carefully about what they know and what they don't know, and how to present that information in a way that all of your readers will understand and be able to take whatever desired action on. More questions to consider. Is there a persuasive component to what you're writing? How interested are your readers in your subject? What other points about readers are important to consider for this document? So we talk about a paradigm shift here at Write It Well. So instead of telling people what you want to tell them, giving the information that you've collected, it's finding out what they actually need or want to know and giving them only that information. And all of that helps when you start by focusing on your readers' needs, interests, and concerns. Of course, step 2 needs to pull your report back to your business need. Okay? So determine carefully what your business need is for your report, proposal, or procedure. As a reminder, the primary purpose of a report is to pass on information. The primary purpose of a proposal is to persuade clients or customers to engage in a business transaction, whereas a procedure presents information through a series of steps. So once you've determined your primary business purpose, whether it's to convince somebody to take action, to share information, or to list those steps, you want to go back and identify and answer your reader's single most important question. So here's where you imagine that your reader is walking out of the room, or the elevator door is closing, the taxi door is shutting and they're driving away. What question would they want answered? And that's the question you need to focus on first. Their question might be, what steps can we take to reduce operating costs during the coming fiscal year? You might have your answer ready. We analyzed your operations and found that these 3 measures will help you reduce costs. We recommend consolidating 2 staff positions, purchasing tablet computers for field representatives, and reducing the number of off-site meetings. We're going to get to that single most important question straight away. You remember when we were learning around academic writing at school We oftentimes wrote a long report and our conclusion was buried at the end. I like to remind people that this is the polar opposite. We're in business writing now, and for business writing, our most important point always goes at the beginning. Whether people read on or not is based on their interest in the content and their need for the information. You want to think more about that reader's question, and so here's some other examples. How can we know that your recommendations will improve our data processing system? And of course, you want to go on and answer that question. Why should we hire your firm for this project? And then you go on and answer that question. Without thinking about your reader's question, you're likely to give them the information again that you have prepared and want to share, but not necessarily the information your reader's interested in. Once you've isolated that most important information, you want to make sure, as I said, that it goes at the beginning. So use the journalistic triangle to essentially funnel your main points, your most important information. So the inverted triangle represents the way you prioritize your information. It's the same way we read newspaper articles or blog posts or anything that we engage with. We start reading at the beginning, and if it holds our interest, we continue reading. And if we're still interested, we continue, and so on and so forth. So again, the most important message, what you absolutely want and need your reader to find is at the beginning. So then as they continue reading, you want to make sure that you've identified their other questions and are prepared to answer them. The workbook by Write It Well, Reports, Proposals, and Procedures, is also in this academy, and you can download the book. There are more exercises and activities in the book, including one on page 20 called $1 Million Report. So I suggest taking a look at that report, really roll up your sleeves and engage. You may be working on your own report or proposal at this point. It's a great time to be working simultaneously, thinking about your reader, their most important questions, and as we move into lesson 2.